Welcome back to Times Square. Today, I'm your host, Bob Guinea. I'm here with my special guest, Kayhan Zirhlioglu. Kayhan, I know a little bit about your story, and I'm excited for you to share it with our viewers today, but we are in the heart of Times Square, right? A lot of people say it's the heart and soul of America.
Yes, it is exciting.
With your journey in life, how does this feel to be sitting here today?
Well, it's feeling great, and thanks for having me. And I'm here today to share my journey and my hope for the future.
I love the message of hope, and that's what really motivated you to come to the United States as a young man and really develop Geoform and Geoforming. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it all started that dark night in 1979. I woke up with a big bang, and it was like a huge explosion. And when I looked out the window, it was pitch black and red together. So it was like the sky was burning.
Right.
I felt and I thought that, oh my God, this is the end of it. We all had the fear of nuclear war, and I was living in Istanbul at that time. It was just about a few seconds away from Russian rockets.
Sure.
Luckily, it was not a nuke.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
We're here today.
Yeah, we are here today. Two tankers collided on the Bosphorus. Interesting thing was the name of the tanker was Independence and Liberty in a way. Okay? And I was like, okay, there's some story here for me to learn.
Sure.
I don't know for a lot of Americans living in the US and living in the safe zone for so long, how it feels to be under tremendous threat all the time.
Right.
As a young soul, I was really interested to learn about what makes US different, because we are in the European side. We were relying completely on the US for our protection, and I just want to learn what sets US apart.
Yeah.
And my journey started with attending to an American university and coming to the US in 1986. And one of my professors told me that I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. I said, why? She said, you'll go to the US and come back and will never be able to adapt back to Europe.
Right.
I didn't understand what she meant at that time. I was amazed with the infrastructure at that time, and I was amazed with the hope and the positivity of almost everybody that I met. It was a booming economy, even though there were issues, but from my perspective, it was a booming country.
Yeah.
I returned back to Europe in 1988, and it took me, life happens. In my life, I ended up in Germany. I spent 30 years of my life in Germany, still working with Germany.
Yep.
The journey that I had in Germany was a journey of performance. In Germany, there is no judgment. You are either learning from your mistakes or you are not fit for that position. This put a lot of pressure on me, and performance pressure, because I was sourcing from rest of the world and selling to Germany and rest of the Europe. And that journey made me sick. I had one after another operations, and in the end, I woke up one morning, my chest was open. It was a thyroid gland removal, but the thyroid gland grew too much. Suddenly, I questioned all my life, and it took me 3 months to heal. And the day that the doctor said I can travel, I called my bike.
You were on the plane.
I called my buddy, Mike. I said, are you free this Friday? It was Wednesday. What's up? I said, I'm coming. So I jumped on the plane and came to Atlanta for 3 days.
Atlanta.
And then the next 3 years, I spent my summers in the US, almost all East Coast. And this is like back to the future. I come from stagnant Europe to an America that I'm hoping that I can find, again, opportunities for growth. And I come here and I see, my God, the infrastructure that I knew of is gone. It's in rubbles. And the strong middle class that I adored is gone. And the hope of a lot of people are subdued.
Yeah.
So this is not the America that I thought that the world needs. I went back to Europe. And it took me 3 years to really learn what's going on in the world. I decided then to move to Canada. So when I moved to Canada, I had something in my mind. US infrastructure needs revamping, and to get the US infrastructure back on its feet, a new recipe is needed. I didn't know what it was. I have a mentor, Jerry. He always tells me, Kayhan, you got an idea? I say, yeah, I got a great idea. He says, do you know how to do it? I said, no. He says, then you'll do it.
Yeah. And what was that idea called?
That idea was finding what is wrong with the infrastructure and why infrastructure building is stopped. Yeah. So I don't want to get into too much into all details of why infrastructure has been neglected for a long time. But the reality today It's from an idea that I need infrastructure for anything
Yep.
to realization takes about 15 to 20 years in the US,
Right.
10 to 15 years in Canada. There are a lot of reasons for this, but we have become in the US and Canada a bit like Europe. It takes too long to decide.
Right, right. It's not an action call. It's a more of an action plan, right?
Yeah, action plan.
Now you said before too. You said that you didn't think infrastructure was sexy, and I thought that was really an interesting way to say that. I disagree. I think planning for the future and planning that infrastructure can be very sexy. If someone wanted to utilize your services and wanted to get a hold of you and really wanted to develop a plan with you, how would they go about doing that?
What we developed as a geoforming concept, forming the ground in such a way to stabilize it and keep the water away. When I studied, I saw that, hey, I'm not telling you the statistics, McKinsey reports, 98% of the infrastructure projects are over the budget. And do you know by how much? On the average, 80%.
80%?
80%. So
Wow.
let's say that the plans are $1 trillion, it ends up with almost $2 trillion.
So yeah, 180% of where they started.
Yes.
Wow, that's
exactly.
remarkable.
And the 2 years delay on the average.
Yeah.
So with and the extra cost and all the carbon emissions and everything, I don't want to get into all that details now. I always like to look at the big picture.
Yep.
And then go into the really micro focus.
Sure.
What are the big stones here, if they are done differently, can have a bigger impact on the whole?
I see. Okay.
Yeah? And I knew from my childhood, because I grew up as the son of an architect who was also a builder, who had a construction company.
Yeah.
And I grew up on his lap drawing. I learned from him something. He said, son, when you grow up, because he had a big issue. One day, they were building a high-rise on the 5th or 6th basement.
Yep.
Retainers walls gave in, water rushed in.
Oh my
Luckily,
gosh.
nobody died. He had so hard time. He told me, son, when you do construction in the future, never forget, keep the bloody water away
Yeah.
and make sure the soil is stable. So in geoforming, what we do is we stabilize the soil in such a way that the soil doesn't understand we are doing something to it.
Right, right.
Effectively keep the water away. So we've developed not only the technologies, we've taken the best of the world global technology from Europe, Germany mainly,
Yeah.
and then coupled it with North American engineering. But from my days in Germany, I only believe in systems
Yeah.
and standardization and taking care of all the small stuff first.
Right.
So we've been on our works for the last 5 years, developing all our systems, all our technology. This is technology today has to be supported with the IT. We even have now brought in the AI tools to support us to determine not only the correct solution, but also how to make sure with instant QA, QC that we deliver what we promise.
Right.
So it took us a long time.
Yeah.
Now, people can find us on the internet by Googling geoforming.com, but almost everybody in the tunneling industry now knows us.
Right.
Yeah? In
That's
the US
fantastic.
and in Canada. All engineering companies knows us, almost all contractors know us. And what do they know? Is, hey, call Geoform when you got a big problem.
Yeah.
Because that is how we positioned ourselves first.
So you're problem solvers.
Initially we were to prove them what we do is effective.
Yeah.
Because even though we take the best precautions, best measures to make sure everything is going to be okay, underground it's not gonna go okay.
Right.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, all
Always.
the tunneling that happens, all the different things that happen. I mean, we're on an island right now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's a tunnel that comes here. I get it. So it would use your strengths and really allow your planning to take effect.
Yeah, but I had to tell you one more thing here, that human beings, our bodies are 70% water.
Yeah.
So we need to live close to water bodies.
Right.
And as a child, I thought that the lakes and rivers are like bathtubs.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I learned it's not. The water goes everywhere. So when we are thinking that, okay, when I make a construction here, I change the ground and I can control the water and the soil movements, usually it is on the theory good,
Yep.
but in realization, expect unexpected.
Right.
Unexpectedly occurring problems, we call them the geo-rescue solutions,
Right.
so that we can tackle them right away. We have a saying, kill the snake when it is small, before it grows.
Before it gets too big, then the
Yeah.
problem can't be solved.
Yeah.
Well, you've had a fascinating life journey. I think
Yeah.
it's a fascinating story. I love what you're doing, and I love your opinions on things, especially how well formed it is from your travels and from your life experiences. How would someone get a hold of you right now so that they can actually utilize the services that you provide?
Well, at the moment, we are presenting on all conferences. We will be presenting in 2 weeks in Nashville. and then we will be presenting also in Montreal in Canada. Somebody just simply goes into our website and book a call. This is so easy to reach us.
Excellent.
And we will be soon having all our plans are to have on all 50 states our subsidiaries, and our regional hubs will be in 6 territories within the US and 3 in Canada. So we will be serving the whole North American market within the next 2 years. So we will be in every city and every major project. That's our plan. To be a partner to solve the problems and to make sure that when the unexpected hits, solve them right away.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
I thank you.
Times Square today. We're so lucky to have you, Kayhan, and make sure that you come visit us again sometime soon. All right?
I thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.